Initial scientific findings surrounding the object now known as the Buga Sphere, a mysterious flying sphere recovered in the town of Buga, Colombia.
Discovered in Colombia, the remarkable Buga Sphere has some interesting features. The metallic sphere generates a strange surge power phenomenon that violates known physics principles. Importantly, this is not a thought experiment. It can be observed. Once investigators tracked its wild path over Buga, Colombia, they located an interesting spherical object. The smooth finish on the surface of the metallic sphere is perfect, and it uniquely extracts from the environment at a continuous rate of power of 100 watts. So, if this bizarre object continually extracts from environmental energy, could humanity be experiencing its first, or one of its first, glances into revolutionary propulsion technology? Or is it an alien technology? Join us in our video today as we take a look at Grok 4's Buga Sphere and all its mysteries. An MIT physicist has confirmed it. The findings from the MIT physicists provide strong evidence. There is consistent thermal absorption taking place in the spherical object that cannot be explained as a result of environmental temperature differences or chemical actions. There is something even stranger beyond that first discovery. Energy anomalies are merely the visible manifestations of an even more fundamental phenomenon. Grok 4's artificial intelligence model indicates that the sphere has unprecedented control of its mass property. The laboratory measurements were nothing short of extraordinary. While on precision-calibrated scales, the object changed weight from 4 to more than 20 pounds. What theoretical explanation can adequately explain such gross violations of fundamental physical laws? The strange effect on the life of plants immediately in proximity raises equally perplexing questions. These results will challenge the very basis of the present understanding of energy transfers, propulsion systems, and even gravity. The groundbreaking MIT review. A groundbreaking discovery by an MIT researcher has created great scientific interest. Following strict experimental validation, Dr. Chen's lab documented 3 never-before-seen phenomena related to the Buga Sphere. Their first observation revealed continuous heat uptake of 100 watts from the surroundings. This strange process was like a small light bulb operating in the opposite way, drawing energy in rather than releasing it outwardly. As opposed to typical thermal processes that decay quickly, this phenomenon lasted for hours of uninterrupted observation. During their second set of experiments, researchers observed instant evaporation of water when droplets contacted the surface of the sphere, which occurs when a hot cooking surface is touched. However, thermal imaging revealed a paradoxical feature. Despite the quick evaporation, the surface of the sphere remained cool to the touch. The thermal energy was being channeled into the metallic form somehow and diverted elsewhere. The third phenomenon was particularly confounding, as common explanations could not account for it. Battery power would result in drain, cryogenic materials would eventually get warm, and phase change materials would get saturated. And still, the sphere continued to engulf its prey-like, merciless energy without even a hint of any limitation. This phenomenon contradicted the most fundamental tenets of physics. No current scientific theory can explain why a body can continue to absorb energy without it being manifested somewhere else in the system, hence violating the principle of conservation of energy. To give an idea of the scope of the implications, consider a refrigerator operating indefinitely without electricity, drawing power from the surrounding air. While the sphere's present ability is small in scale, confirmation of the effect would revolutionize global energy systems. The MIT researchers ended their paper with a bombshell statement. If true, this discovery could fundamentally alter our knowledge of motion, energy, and spatial dynamics. The solution to this enigmatic energy paradox could lie in the ball's pre-trapping behavior, AI Grok 4's radical model. Scientists encountered perplexing data that went against conventional wisdom. Scientists went to see Grok 4, Elon Musk's Gates's brilliant artificial intelligence physicist. They provided detailed measurements like mass readings, electromagnetic observations, heat measures, and material checks. Grok 4 came up with an unexpected hypothesis. The AI suggested that the Buga Sphere has an engineered network that can be used to create negative mass effects. Although negative mass appears to be remarkable, it can also be explained by a common analogy: pulling weight off of a backpack without pulling its contents out. This is counterintuitive. However, the weight of the sphere changed exactly as these theories had predicted. At first weighing around 4 or 5 pounds when first discovered, scientists recorded its steady weight increase over weeks to 16 pounds, then 20 pounds, and eventually 22 pounds, all without any change in dimensions. According to the official research paper, Grok 4 discovered that there is a lattice structure in the sphere. When activated, the structure generates the equivalent of 8.1 kilograms of mass, which is basically taking away 81% of the weight of the sphere. This is the reason why the sphere moved erratically in the air with no visible propulsion. The most fascinating of these was when Grok 4 predicted an energy anomaly, which was later confirmed by MIT. The AI system predicted that the sphere would continuously drain some 100 watts of heat from its surroundings, precisely what subsequent measurements verified. Grok 4 proposed an even more outlandish alternative. The sphere might be more than a physics trick. It might contain a hidden quantum computer. The 18 internal microspheres might form part of a neuromorphic system, performing 70 trillion operations per second to manage its unusual physical properties. But if Grok 4 is right, then this sphere isn't just a strange object. It's a blueprint, a hidden machine far beyond our reach. But who built it? And why? What this could mean, the discovery of the Buga Sphere uncovers unprecedented phenomena challenging our current conceptualization of physics. If these observed energy and mass anomalies actually exist, they would fundamentally transform many scientific disciplines and technology fields. Let us begin with the production of power. A constant 100-watt output doesn't sound groundbreaking, but the tech behind it is more significant. Scaling it up could provide us with the ability to come up with entirely new methods of energy harvesting. Self-sustaining cooling systems with power fed from environmental thermal absorption, or spaceships' energy supplied by the space itself. Propulsion is another possible application. The ball's measured 81% reduction in inertial mass accounts for eyewitness reports of impossible zigzag path patterns. With masses so greatly diminished, very little propulsive force would be required to move an object. This invention could revolutionize space travel. A vessel using the system could travel at incredible velocities and consume very little fuel. Military and defense applications are also worthy of note. A vehicle capable of controlling its mass signature would be very inconvenient for radar tracking systems. This is the reason why UAP sightings so frequently involve accounts of objects appearing to blink on and off from mainstream tracking fields. What makes this story so compelling is that the Buga Sphere is not the only one. A second metallic sphere in June of 2025 was discovered near Buga, Colombia, about 50 kilometers from Buga. The Jumbo sphere had equally peculiar properties, including weight fluctuations and an otherworldly, heartbeat-like electromagnetic humming noise, which can be heard up to a 10-meter distance. Both spheres appear to react to stimuli from the environment. Video footage captures the Buga Sphere moving more vigorously when exposed to specific frequencies of sound. Scientists now hypothesize that acoustic resonance can interact with whatever internal field these devices generate. Consider this as a possibility. What if these are not individual artifacts? What if these spheres are part of a network, pulsating like hearts as they exchange information with one another? Remember the desolate spot of ground where the Buga Sphere touched down? Months later, there is still no vegetation. The sphere imposed a lasting signature on the environment, perhaps to give us insight into how these objects affect our world. The Buga Sphere didn't appear alone. It is part of a pattern that has been occurring for decades, a pattern that is getting harder to overlook. The Betts family in Florida discovered a similar metal sphere on their property following a brush fire in 1974. The roughly 20-centimeter diameter sphere exhibited unexplained behaviors in defiance of ordinary physics. The Bethe sphere apparently defied gravity and moved independently, as well as vibrated and made sounds when exposed to the guitar music. The family disturbance prompted them to call the authorities. The US Navy eventually looked into it and stated that it was an industrial steel ball, but that response accounted for few of its independent movement's witnesses. The coincidence with Buga is striking. Both balls respond to sound. Both move in ways that look impossible according to physical laws. Jump ahead to the Pentagon's 2023 UAP report. Military pilots and drones have observed round objects repeatedly exhibiting behaviors similar to the Buga Sphere. These objects travel with impossibly quick agility, present themselves with a metallic sheen, and frequently fall below radar detection. But until now, we've never had one to investigate in the lab. For decades, spheres like these were dismissed as anomalies. But the Buga Sphere is the first laboratory-confirmed sample of anomalies. It's the first time that we've made material measurements of energy and mass anomalies that violate current physics. And the shocking news, scientists now believe the Buga Sphere harbors a light-based neural network, an integrated brain-like system. The fiber optic fibers discovered inside the sphere through X-ray imaging aren't haphazard. Instead, they form a pattern typical of a photonic neural network. Grok 4's subsequent research estimates that this inner system performs about 70 trillion calculations per second, powerful enough to control the sphere's exotic physics in real time. This would explain how it maintains stability while manipulating its own mass and energy. If true, we're not merely examining an object. We might be observing an autonomous device, something between a drone and an intelligent probe capable of independent operation and decision-making. But if this sphere truly thinks for itself, calculating, adapting, even choosing, then what happens when its choices no longer align with ours? Could humanity survive such intelligence? Most significant about these findings is that they're not emerging from the fringe of scientists. These measurements are being confirmed by mainstream institutions and verified by standalone physicists at MIT. Human and global impact. The Buga Sphere operates on much more than scientific intrigue. Its influence on human lives and ecosystems has borne quantitative manifestation. David Vess, a local who assisted in recovering the sphere, fell victim to an extended period of illness upon exposure to it. His symptoms consisted of severe headaches and inexplicable weakness that could not be analyzed by doctors. Worse still, though, was the incident with violates, who attempted to clean the sphere with water. When it touched, the water immediately converted to steam and vaporized, despite the surface temperature of the sphere feeling cold to the touch. The cost to the environment is just as disturbing. The ground where the sphere first landed remains completely barren months later. Not a blade of grass or a weed has been able to resprout in the soil. Scientists detected no radiation that could explain this die-off, although they did detect a high decaying ionized field surrounding the object. Whatever energy was being emitted by the sphere was strong enough to make the soil impossible for months to produce anything. These localized effects imply greater ramifications if this technology were understood and applied. The societal ramifications would be significant across various industries. In energy generation, a larger-scale version of the planet's constant energy absorption could completely reshape power generation globally, allowing us to electrify everything from houses to cities with ease. Imagine power plants that can derive energy from their surroundings with no emissions and without needing fuel. Transportation would undergo a fundamental transformation through vehicles capable of reducing their inertia by 80%. Cars, planes, and space vehicles could be more efficient and fast, with but a fraction of current energy needs. Defense systems would need a complete redesign to catch and track objects capable of governing their mass signature. The strategic implications of this level of technology would change the security calculus around the globe. The fact that something as small as a bowling ball could, in fact, be that potent is both exciting and scary. It is either a massive possibility or a possible menace, depending on who created it and for what purpose. Think of it this way: if this is alien tech, we are students of whichever being designed it. If it is man-made, then someone is clearly working far outside the human understanding of physics and not taking credit for it. Either way, this goes to a very different place in our universe. As MIT's Dr. Chen has expressed it, either we have an alien device, or we're going to revolutionize physics, or maybe both. This is no exaggeration. It is the sober assessment of serious scientists confronting evidence they cannot explain using conventional means. But before we leap into Buga, pause for a moment. If this sphere really exists, are we standing on the edge of discovery or staring into something far more dangerous? The most profound impact would be on our understanding of physics itself. If the negative mass effect is real, we are seeing the first physical evidence of a technology based on the fractal geometry of space-time itself. It could revolutionize the very foundations of our knowledge of the fundamental laws that govern our universe. The beginning of the extraordinary story. The incredible tale begins in Buga, Colombia, as citizens witnessed something amazing. On March 2nd of 2025, citizens observed a metallic sphere that glowed with an otherworldly light, performing breathtaking aerial acrobatic stunts in the air at incredibly high velocities. Amateur cinematographers captured interesting video of the ball doing stunts that were beyond the realm of standard flight, making sharp instant turns and flying around wildly before landing on a field outside of town. Unlike typical UFO sightings where indeterminate lights were noted, evidence conclusively displayed a hard reflective body performing physically impossible aerial stunts. When the witnesses approached the landed craft, they encountered a metallic sphere, roughly 50 centimeters in diameter. The sphere featured complex geometric patterns engraved onto it, but lacked discernible seams, joints, or openings of any kind. Analysis of the material revealed the sphere was composed primarily of an aluminium alloy with approximately 95% aluminum and tiny traces of nickel, cobalt, and titanium. Although these are common earth metals, the sphere was hardness tested at approximately 330 Hb on the Brinell scale, well above ordinary aerospace-grade aluminium. X-ray views revealed astounding interior complexity. Mexican National Autonomous University engineer Rulfo Guerrero and Dr. Carlos Munoz thoroughly analyzed it and concluded the sphere contained thin, filament-like strands of fiber optics and a core chip or nucleus. This nucleus was encased in 16 to 18 tiny microspheres in concentric circles. Seasoned, unidentified flying object researcher Jaime Mann arranged the first press conferences when these sightings were being reported. While his involvement raised some eyebrows in the scientific community, subsequent laboratory testing followed rigorous protocols and was validated by independent institutions. Perhaps most sensational was the perfect build-out of the sphere. Dr. Jose Luis Velasquez, a radiography expert, said the whole ball appeared to be machined or cast from one piece, a manufacturing feat even using today's technology. Originally, only 4 to 5 pounds upon recovery, the scientists followed the globe, adding weight over a few weeks to 16 pounds, then 20, and finally 22 pounds without any size or visual appearance change. These verified facts were the foundation for more advanced investigation by Grok 4 and the research team of MIT physics students. Their findings have elevated this from an intriguing occurrence to a potential scientific discovery that is challenging our fundamental understanding of physics. Our investigation began with a sensational assertion regarding a mysterious Colombian sphere with anomalous energy patterns defying conventional physical laws. After careful examination, we can now firmly conclude that there is strong empirical support for this initial claim. The MIT physicists' evaluation is unambiguous. The energy anomaly is genuine. The area constantly shows the ability to gain a mean of 100 watts of heat from its environment through methods beyond the knowledge of current science. These findings are precise measurements by calibrated instruments under carefully controlled laboratory conditions, free from hypothesis and fantasy. Grok 4's purely theoretical negative mass model, once considered absurd, has been partially validated. The AI correctly predicted some energy behavior, subsequently confirmed by follow-up independent tests. Its conceptual framework, linking mass variation, propulsion ability, and thermal absorption, presents the first complete explanation for all the anomalies seen to date in relation to the sphere. Consequences extend far beyond this singular object. If the sphere is actually a warping mass with interactions in space-time geometry, we are seeing the emergence of revolutionary physics that may be able to revolutionize energy production, transport systems, and our very understanding of gravity. Upcoming developments hold particular significance. Scientists plan to apply sophisticated imaging techniques, such as neutron tomography and CT scans, to create detailed maps of the internal structure of the sphere. Careful metallurgical analysis and isotopic analysis will search for traces of extraterrestrial material. Vacuum chamber experiments will confirm whether the energy absorption phenomenon is a repeatable effect under different environmental conditions. Whether this sphere is an extraterrestrial probe, a human experimentation artifact, or none of the above, one thing is certain. We have entered a new age of scientific discovery, but we're just starting out. Whereas strange sphere accounts have lingered for decades, this is the first case of laboratory-established anomalies defying our basic knowledge of physics. Whichever intelligence fashioned this sphere, whether human or not, we now become learners of concepts that have the potential to redefine our future. If this sphere is truly bending the laws of physics, then what does that mean for our future? Is it the dawn of a new scientific age, or proof we're dealing with something not of this earth? Either way, the Buga Sphere leaves us with one truth. Discovery always comes with both wonder and danger. Share your thoughts in the comments section below, and stay tuned.